Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Club. I'm Nick Knack. With me is the great Lord Vorn.
Hello, everybody.
And on today's episode, how to pick and choose when buying a used car and what financial situation should you be in.
Realm Shifter.
Hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to teach you financing with Realm Shifter.
And Subaru Hatchback.
Yeah!
It's not actually a hatchback. It's technically a wagon.
Yeah, it's basically a small crossover.
Yeah.
So, in case you're wondering, Seki got a new car, and me and Vorn were currently trying to ask Seki a game of 20 questions
About my payments.
about your payments.
It's okay, I'm just going to give them the paperwork later and let them knock themselves out on a bundle this thick
Yes.
of legalese.
Yes. Let me read all that legalese. This is what motivates me. I love translating legalese.
That was 10 to 20 minutes of my life I'm never getting back.
Well, you know, Nick Knack, not all of us are wealthy enough to just get a new car fresh out of college. Some of us are broke bitches.
I think most of us are broke bitches, honestly.
Coming from the three people in this room who purchased new cars. No.
Yeah.
I purchased a new car on the heels of a new job, though.
I purchased a new car on the heels of I got a fat bonus when I worked for the Zon, but then also it was not as economically viable at the time for me to buy a used car because the used car market was effed at that
No,
time.
that's the real reason why Rome and I
Yeah.
both got new cars. Like, I probably would have got a used car as well if the used car market wasn't actually on.
And Vorn is just good at investing and actually knows what to do with money and financials.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
broke, so I have never had a new car.
Bro's got time in the
I have never
market.
had a car that was younger than 10 years by the time I owned it. My first car was in 2002, my second car was in 2010, my third car was in 2009, and now my car is in 2014.
And then pretty soon, in another, we'll say maybe 10 years, your car is going to be like a 2020.
She's literally going to buy my Corolla off the lot.
Yes!
I literally am going to buy your Corolla from you now. In 10 years, I'm going to say, hey, what's the trade-in offer? If I offer you $500 more than that, can I buy your car and you can put that towards...
I don't know. Would you like to see how much my car's worth in 10
No.
years?
No, I don't. I have faith that his car will devalue enough for me to afford it in a decade.
Probably not, because his car is built for reliability, but who knows?
It is Toyota.
But it's a hybrid.
But it's also...
Battery costs
but-
on replacement once the car gets older will drag down your traded value.
okay.
Yeah.
Battery
enough.
maintenance will lower it enough that I can afford a hybrid. Finally.
But then you'll be stuck with the cost of
Yeah.
having to get that battery replaced yourself.
It's okay. Either way, I think we should maybe move on to our anime.
Yes, To Be Hero X.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one's technically it's a Chinese doga series, right?
Donghua.
Yeah.
Donghua. Doga's Japanese.
Yeah. It's a Chinese and Japanese co-production.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And part of a larger interconnected universe with two other shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although not really, because
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything that technically ties all of them together.
They're connected according to the production studios, but they're not like connected in the way that you're like seeing the same characters from series to series or anything like that.
It's like they share, it's more like just they share a universe, basically.
Exactly.
Even then,
Yeah.
from what I understand, it's more of a spiritual
Yeah.
thematic successor thing, not even a shared
It
universe.
still counts. Those shows being To Be Heroine and To Be Hero.
Yep.
There's a complicated discussion here about whether or not we should have watched those first that we maybe could have had with Vorn, but obviously I didn't have that conversation with Vorn after looking into this more, so...
Well, and the production of this is interesting. So the studio that worked on this, right, B Dream. B Dream is actually a conglomeration of so it's Bilibili, the actual animation company, right? Like the online video service, Bilibili.
Yeah.
Basically joined with what was the old Halo Liners studio to create B Dream, right? Which takes over basically the old Halo Liners, and all of their animation works are now under Bilibili. But this series was also created in collaboration of this new B-Dream Halo Liners Bilibili team and PB Animation, Studio Lan, and Paper Plane Animation Studio, which are 3 other separate studios that worked in collaboration with the former Halo Liners team, which is still technically Halo Liners, but Halo Liners under Bilibili.
What does Halo Liner do? I've never heard of them.
Not a ton. So anything that was under Halo Liners was transferred to this new company. There's only a few. So it's 2B Heroine, Shikwang Agent Link Click, Daily Life at Sikwang Photo Studio, Shiwang Agent Link Click Second, Fate Fist.
Fate
Fist.
Then there's Sikwang Agent Link Click Yongdo, and then 3 series that are the titles are written in Chinese without clickable links.
Okay.
So I cannot read those.
That's
And
fine.
evidently, because there is no clickable link, that means that they are not. They don't have a clickable information available about them. The original Halo Liners production studio was founded in 2013, and then the merger was in 2021.
Because I remember seeing on the trailer, it was like Bilibili and Aniplex, but...
Yeah, so Bilibili and Aniplex basically funded it, but then the production company was Halo Liners, which is now owned by Bilibili, in collaboration with those 3 other studios, none of which have a Wikipedia page for me to be referred to. So that's fun. A bit of an interesting sort of like story to like getting from idea to being created, because it's very rare that you see so many studios working on the same animation show, and those other 3 studios aren't credited with like assisting animation. No, it's a full collaboration.
And to my understanding, this isn't episode by episode. Like, the animation that the studios are doing will change scene to scene.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yeah, because the To Be Heroed X is structured into individual narrative arcs that are told not in chronological order. Which just makes it very interesting. And then Hiroyuki Sawano does the opening theme for the series, and Senna Rin performs the ending song.
There's a lot of cooks in this kitchen right now, including, I think, Crunchyroll has money being thrown around in here too.
Yes, Crunchyroll does as well. I think they partially hounded it. The actual direction and writing was actually by Li Haoling, and Li Haoling is also the head of Halo Liners.
And he also did Link Click, which is a very, very popular thing as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and he's young. Like
Nice.
I'm impressed because he is she. It's a she. I forgot about that. It's a she.
Our age or
Maybe like early 30s. Mid-
Why are you asking, Warren?
1985.
Okay, so
Okay.
like millennial.
But essentially,
pretty much our age.
No.
Like
older.
1980.
I know
Oh,
you feel and act like an old man, but no.
No, I want to know how fucking bad I should feel
Look.
about being this old, not doing shite.
Look, it's 2025. If we're working with 1985, we can just do simple math here. And so about 40.
I was gonna say it's our age plus 14.
Yeah.
I mean, that too, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That too, but also brain hurty juice.
Yeah.
So...
No, it's a he.
I thought I heard it was
No,
like,
I
so-
shit you not. I looked at this man's picture and I said, oh, it's a he. And then I scrolled down, and in this article, they've said she twice.
Okay, so then maybe that was a mistake on
And I
the
think it's a
writer.
mistranslation.
Yeah,
it's
probably
a he.
mistranslation.
I knew it was he. I was like, there's no way.
I hope the comment didn't jump on us. You know the one
Somebody
commenter,
will have.
the one who
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
listen to the end of that segment and that bit, and
Yeah.
immediately jumped on us for that mistake, even though we corrected it 2 minutes later. I know you're watching.
Yeah.
Alright, everybody, it's time to jump on Twitter and cancel Seki.
But this series is this series has been in the works for a minute too. Like some of
Yeah.
those teasers,
6
especially that
years.
first one, goes back a while.
Yeah.
And I think I remember when this was teased as well. Like I didn't remember it until I watched that teaser. Like I remember people were talking, is this the anime version of Spider-Verse? Because it's so experimental on how a lot of these episodes are animated.
This feels like what it would be like if Valorant got an anime.
I mean, It is, but I like it because I feel like, here's the thing. I remember when we first started talking about, like, in our animation segments, right? And there was always kind of the denomination between, is this the bog standard generic animation for whatever was coming out in this, like, year-ish area, right, where all anime that doesn't have a unique style looks the same, or is it like a unique style, right? But unique styles are normally tied to the manga, right? So if an anime has a unique style to it, it's traditionally because the art is drawn a specific way in the manga, right? So for a show like this that doesn't have a manga to be based off of, to be so experimental, right, to work with so many different animation studios and do so many different and unusual things that just aren't done in, like, this stereotypical traditional anime that's coming out right now in, like, 2025 is, I think, incredibly impressive, right? Because it's taking a leap of faith. Because sure, it might be, we might say, oh, it's kind of like, the Spider-Verse, right? But Spider-Verse is a Western property. This is an Eastern production, right? And so they're not looking at necessarily at, like, Spider-Verse and going, ooh, we want to do something like that because that's what's popular in the anime community. Because that's not true, per se.
No. I think it's important to say not that they didn't take any inspiration, because it's just that it's not what was popular in the anime community.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, it's actually pretty well known that animators really jump around with their influences, and, like, I think there's, like, an actual exchange between like Pixar, a lot of anime studios back and forth for, like, during the early 2000s.
But a lot of the times, if you're making an anime that's going to be, like, anime original, right? A lot of people who make, like, anime original series will try to stick to what's the popular look, right? Because they want it to be palatable to a large audience, so that a lot of people will consume it and not be, like, thrown off by the differences that it presents. So going, like, all out like this, fucking 1,000 out of 10.
Maybe not always, but definitely for, like, the more action-oriented series, you definitely see that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you can get, like, even if you do, like, a lower, like, action, like, set piece, like, just with high production value, kind of, like, just, like, a silent voice, for example, you can still get, like, higher quality, like, visuals, but just, like, not in as an intense, like, action set piece.
But a silent voice is different, because a silent voice is both a movie and not an action series. So it has this unique opportunity to be something different and something out there. If you're thinking of something that's, like, shonen, but, like, doesn't necessarily have a unique art style connected to a manga attached to it, right? Not to be that person, but, like, Jujutsu Kaisen is not particularly specially unique in the way that it looks.
I agree,
I agree
with that.
Because I've watched it as well.
There are other
it's
distinctions,
not like One
too,
Piece
like,
or Naruto, which have a very distinct art style.
even if it's not tied to the manga, often this art style is tied to the studio.
Yeah.
Like, Gainax, I believe, has a pretty particular style that they often revert, like, just go back to.
Because it's what they have animators and artists for.
Yeah.
You know? And I like, there's no issue with that. That's never a problem in an anime series. But seeing something step, like, so far outside of it is fantastic. Because I feel like between this and then things like Arcane and sort of the overwhelming sort of presence of Chinese net animations coming in with, like, multiple different dramatic styles of, like, animation and 3D animation, we're really starting to look at, like, Eastern animation production is becoming something that can be so vast and varied. I mean, and there are some older shows, right, that represent stuff like that. I mean, Mob Psycho 100 also has incredibly unique animation, and we've seen series that do successfully combine a mix of 2D and 3D, like, really well.
I mean, that goes all the, like, you could see some of that even in some of Ufotable's older productions.
Exactly.
Garden of Sinners.
But seeing it, like, more and more is nice.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, not to, I don't want to say not to be that person, because, like, obviously I am going to be that person, but, I mean, you look at, like, anime releasing, like, this season or something, right? And the vast majority of them look basically the same, right? In the way that the characters, I mean, sure, colors are different, hair colors are different, maybe the setting is different, but the way that the models move, the way that the models themselves look is all pretty similar a lot of the time. Simply because on the other side of that, there's just such a large amount of series that's coming out even each individual studio often takes on multiple projects sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't have enough time or money for some of these like lower investment series to do something unique like this. So seeing more shows coming out like Arcane, like this, like Star Wars Visions, I'd count that too, into this like toss-up, is something I really want to see continue in both the Eastern and Western animation industries.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, the incorporation of music is fantastic.
Oh,
yeah. Every character has their own unique theme, and I've like listened to a lot of those themes on loop.
And the thing is that's another part of the series. This music is not written by one person. There are like 7 or 8 different people writing the music for the various scenes and stories.
Yeah.
Some of them are well known, some of them aren't.
Mm-hmm.
It is evident like, as you're listening to the series, Sawano does a lot of like the just the background tracks, the BGMs.
Yeah.
But when you get into the actual like sung pieces, they grab a lot of different artists for that.
Yeah. And it's good to see, like, even though, like, what Seki said earlier, that there's just been a lot of cooks in the kitchen with this one, that they kind of each know when it's their time to, like, let their end of the production shine.
Yeah,
and they know when to step back when it's time to let someone else's production take over.
In this case, too many cooks in the kitchen is not spoiling the broth, it's improving the flavor.
Exactly.
There also, and I don't want to jump too far into the story here, there also might be thematic reasons why the animation style is shifting. Or like thematic and story reasons, because
you'd be surprised, for a shonen series, this is incredibly focused in thematics and like emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And you'll know, like, there's a distinct point, I don't know if you guys caught it, about halfway through the series, where they stopped doing 3D animation, and to my understanding, like, a lot of fans are speculating there's an actual reason for it in the story.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
I did notice that. I noticed that, like, we're not in 3D anymore. I did notice that pretty quickly.
You know, and Vorn being the little asshole that he is, gave us this series, and we had to wait a week for the final episode of it. I mean, this is top.
No, the final episode was out.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, you gave us the series. It was like fresh.
Yeah.
Right?
So to be clear, the episodes we're covering include the Nice arc, the Isol arc, the Lucky Cyan arc, and then the Short Queen arc. We're not covering the, as of this point, airing Lolly arc, or I think, what was his name? Shadowblade or something like that after that? Ghostblade. Yeah, those 2 arcs are currently airing right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure will be another arc or 2 after that as well later.
Yeah.
They're covering all of the heroes from the...
There's going to be 24 episodes in the final
so,
season by the time the season is over. Yeah. But we're covering up to episode 12. So like, the little asshole over here dropped us.
He dropped a seasonal show that I am now watching right into my lap.
Because oh my god, you almost crashed out over this the first week we
had.
Like, Nick Nack messaged me. I woke up to a text message one morning that just said, "I'm gonna kill him." And it was like, I have to wait for Saturday?
Sunday.
Well,
I'm at my
worse.
parents' for brunch.
Yeah, like an absolute fucking crash out over a series. I genuinely don't think that I probably say conservatively, I genuinely don't think that the 4 of us have been this invested in a series in quite a while, like collectively. You know, we all have our like one-off things where like 1 or 2 of us are really, really invested, but it's hard to find something that like all 4 of us are really vibing on sometimes.
I mean, I still did my usual thing of binging to the last minute, and that's exactly what I did.
Did you watch the extra bits that were suggested optional?
I think
PVs.
I watched,
they were on YouTube.
I watched part of it, but I didn't know that it was actually tied in when I did watch it.
Yeah, so for if you're watching the series, we can talk about them if you want, because they're not that important for our conversation. I don't think I'm worried about spoiling anything from them.
Well, they've been out for so long.
Yeah.
I think
there's
because they were like a preview basically for the series. So
there's a preview for every single character, including a 6-minute one for our title character X. Which are separate stories, not included in the actual animation. Most of them are just short little musical. Like X's is like almost a full sequence from an episode, but every other one's more of a short little musical thing that shows their backstory and important part in their characterization or just a reframing of their narrative from what we watched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's mostly because like X was like the first one to be put out, which was it was about 6 years ago if I remember correctly. So yeah.
Yeah. So we also had this little extra content that was kind of fun to consume and add on to the general experience of watching the show, and I kind of appreciate that. It's almost like another level of like immersion to be able to like add on these little extra things that aren't just like a repackaging of like stuff.
Speaking of extra levels of immersion, have you heard about the central gimmick of this series? So, this is exclusive to China. Like, we don't have access to this unless you're watching this on Bilibili. There is an actual, real-life polling that's going on for all the heroes that you can vote in on Bilibili, and that will affect how much power they have going into Season 2.
Okay, so
that's cool.
important to note here. I have a VPN, and I did watch this on Bilibili.
Okay.
So I did see those. I didn't realize that it was going to be something like super special, but I did actually see that. So I have seen it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have voted.
Mm-hmm.
I have placed votes in these polls.
Your support empowers the heroes. Yeah.
Your vote matters.
I think for me that was a really fun concept because there's this novel series that I really love, right, by this author, and it's one of the most interesting. I'm gonna divert sort of slightly out of the way, but it's one of the most interesting takes on religion I've ever seen in like a fiction series, right? Because it's set in like our world, modern day, all that sort of stuff. But the way that the author deals with religion, right, is that, and I kind of agree with the way that this author sort of behaves towards religion, which is all religion is given power by the people who believe in it, right? What is a powerless God but a God who is forgotten, that no one gives power over their lives to anymore, right? Because it is a form of power for you to say, oh, bad luck, must be Apollo influencing me, right? It doesn't, like, maybe Apollo is real up there influencing you, maybe he isn't, but you are giving him a form of power over the way that you interpret the world and interact with the world by doing things like that, right? And so the way that this author kind of goes at it is that basically any deity that people believe in exists, but their level of power over people is determined by the amount that a person gives them, right? And I like that interpretation because it's very holistic towards the fact that every culture developed deities and beliefs and supernatural feelings, and the way that the heroes work in this series is almost identical, that heroes are given power by people who believe in them. So having an interactive function like the poll where you're voting is like incredibly immersive.
This was actually going to come up later during our suggestions section, but I'm going to go ahead and bring this right now.
Oh my.
I forgot this happened. My brother watched this series before I did when the first 2 episodes were airing.
Oh.
And he suggested this to me, and his pitch for it was, it reminds me a lot about how Fate handles its gods. Where the gods... Because Fate uses a very similar system to what you just mentioned, Seki, where the gods gain power based off of how much people believe in their power.
And for anyone, on the channel who's listening to this who's maybe interested in the book series I'm referring to, it's White Tiger by Kylie Chan. It's 3 trilogies connected. So the first is White Tiger, Red Phoenix, Blue Dragon, and then but part of this story is it's heavily steeped mostly in Chinese mythology, and then it also incorporates stuff from all over the world. So if anyone's actually interested in reading that series, that's its name. It's very good.
I was also going to add, because power, I think, is a very important theme to this overall series as a whole, where you're shown like how it's kind of transient as well, but you're also shown like how that affects like the heroes that actually take on that power because they are influenced by the very people that they're trying to support and everything, because there's a whole big agency group that essentially surrounds this whole thing of making sure that these heroes maintain their power and or can gain more supporters within that hierarchy, as the goal is to go to the #1 spot, as we see that with multiple heroes throughout the series.
Well, and humans are fickle too, because you think about this, it's like a lot of people are not believing in a hero necessarily based on their good deeds or something. There's a large denomination of like top-level heroes who are being believed in primarily by 13-year-old fangirls who are like, oh my god, he's so hot.
Right.
Let's be realistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
This conversation on the system is taking all the self-control me not to immediately go into the episode right after we go, because there's a really funny quirk to that system that
I mean, we might as well just talk about it.
No, we cannot talk about it, Vorn. I want to. We cannot.
Because it's kind of like when I think about like the hero rankings and stuff like that, it's one of those things where I look at it, I was like, oh my god, if My Hero Academia had done something similar, this would have been hilarious. Right? Because like when you look at the system in My Hero Academia, it's very easy for you to see the fact that some of these people are on top, not because they're good people, right? But because of propaganda, because they're hot, right? Because of other attractive features to the general public that they have outside of just like their power or how they use it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Hero Aka does always hint at a lot of these kind of concepts. Like,
Yeah.
you'll notice a lot of the villains are these deformed people that maybe shouldn't have ended up where they did in life, but their quirk made them deformed and ugly. So there's a little bit of a...
Quirkism.
Yeah.
And this feels like To Be Hero X kind of takes all those same debates that we saw sort of like in the background of My Hero with like hero rankings and the creation of villains, and then makes them real, like tangible, right? Like people with powers in To Be Hero X aren't just born with those powers and then, you know, the system promotes them or disadvantages them. No. In this case, the system is what is promoting or disadvantaging the powers, and people can develop them randomly or intentionally based on propaganda and good deeds and all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild. It kind of reminds me of Free Guy. You know, you said I made you watch Free Guy.
Yeah, the movie.
It reminds me a little bit of Free Guy.
You know, I've been likening this system too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, My Hero, if you brought like those background elements to the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
The Boys, if it was less cynical about its heroes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like Free Guy is a good in-between there, too. Yeah.
One other thing I was going to say, because what's interesting to me about villains, technically, within the context of To Be Hero X, they technically run off, like, the principle, I'd say, of envy, because a lot of what drives, I notice, the villains in this is envy of the heroes, specifically, because they want sort of that power that they have, but they can't hold it for various different reasons that I find.
There's a little bit of an interesting thing that goes on with these villains in the story across all the arcs, because some of them are legitimate, like, they have a separate power called fear, like, that power.
Like the God Eye, that character, for example.
Well, the thing is, I think it might be like, it's a word that's in Chinese that isn't a word in English, but it's pretty much the opposite of the trust value. So that's why I think like they're using like fear rather than exactly that.
It's more of a like that's just what they can approximate.
I think it's that. I don't know the word is though. So yeah.
But
it's kind of like
if it's the exact, if it's meant to be like the exact opposite of the system that's empowering the heroes, I kind of understand what you mean here, right? Because it's not fear, but like the distrust and the inability to like
the
uncertainty.
Yeah.
The
not fear of a person, but lack of ability to put trust in them.
It's the lack of belief in their ability to be a hero.
Yeah,
but
something missing.
But not all the villains have that. In fact, from what we're seeing in the series, that's a relatively recent phenomenon. Yeah. There are other villains that are just more naturally springing up, and then there's ones that are, and this is in the literal first arc, that are the Boys style. We're just going to craft a script and have WWE fights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is fair, because, I mean...
Girls like their very nice hot villains.
Come on, let's get some...
Gordon is right.
It's
the bad boy coefficient. You put a sad man who's never seen a day of comfort in his life, disadvantaged by the system, into a hot little villain outfit number. Oh, he's gonna have so many fans. He's gonna Loki. Look at Loki.
Look at Loki.
This is the Loki rule, right? By all accounts, Loki is a villain in the Avengers. But oh my god, the mental gymnastics that girls jump through to make Loki their little adorable Blorbo who never did anything wrong. Remember, he's only evil because he's mistreated by his father. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Loki.
The mental gymnastics is real, but also
yeah, the mental gymnastics. put a pretty boy in
Yeah.
a cute little outfit, make him a sad villain, and oh boy.
I'm curious if the series is ever going to explore what happens beyond the sort of villain-hero dichotomy, because the villain-hero dichotomy is supposed to be like you fight a villain and you beat a villain. That's like what can spring you up to the top 10.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other heroes we see. Are we going to explore the Batman conundrum, where it's mostly these people with powers beating up on poor people?
Maybe, possibly. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I don't know if we will, but that'd be kind of a funny thing to explore.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. If I had as much student debt as some of the villains in Gotham, I too would be on Batman's shit list. If I had as much shady student debt as some of those people are forced to have, I too would be doing some shady fucking shit to pay it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, there is actually, for sure, more to the trust system than we definitely know, because we already seen that within Nice arc and kind of Easel's arc as well, and we definitely know for sure with X's from just like the promotional material. So yeah, there's way more the trust value.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very complicated system.
So this series is not one singular narrative, and I feel like that's going to throw a lot of people. That probably throws a lot of people off. Like,
No, I think really quickly I'd like to run through. So the first 4 episodes are part of the Nice Commoner arc,
Yeah.
right? And then you've got the Isol. Isol is episodes 5 and 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Lucky Cyan is 8, 9, and 10.
Yep.
And then Queen is 11 and 12.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have 4 arcs that we've done, ranging from 2 episodes to 4 episodes in length.
and these arcs are like fresh stories. You're basically watching a short film about this character's usually origin story, at least their most important, like the most important point early in their life.
Which, absolutely wild start with Nice.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I know.
I went in largely blind to this structure. I like it because it reminds me of watching early MCU, where you're watching these completely disconnected, but you can
movies,
connect them, and you know it's building up to stuff.
I made the decision when I was watching them to watch by arc. So I did this in 4 sittings. And I just treated them like the MCU build-up, which meant that normally when I would have, sometimes in anime series I have a complaint when we flip between like characters and POVs and feels disconnected.
Yeah.
It doesn't if you watch it that way deliberately.
See, it also kind of is fun because it means you can go back and rewatch just your favorite arc once in a while.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, if I had an extra hour and a half in my week this week, I probably would have rewatched Lucky Cyan's arc.
I'd say talking about personal favorite arcs, mine was actually probably like Isol's arc in this one specifically.
Oh.
Because I like that one quite a lot, because it kind of shows like sort of like the corrupted hero archetype, because you kind of slowly see his descent into what that power gives him. It's kind of a slow burn arc towards the end there, in my opinion.
How about you guys? What's your favorites?
I'm going to be real stereotypical here. I really like Nice the Commoner.
That's fair.
Mostly because for me, see, you're like kind of the dark archetype, right? Whereas I see this as, like, it sort of feels like a villain of your own creation, but not on the part of the hero, right? Because, you know, Nice killing himself does not create the villain, but his manager, like, the villain of your own creation is you.
Just an entire
You know?
entertainment industry.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that for me was a really impactful one.
And we can go over these individual arcs in a little bit more detail if we want in a second. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think it sounds like we have, like, that gives us 3 of 4. I don't know. What was your favorite?
Do you happen to be the other one?
I don't imagine so. What is your
Queen
favorite?
was cool, but
Furman.
Which one?
Furman.
So technically a part of Nice's. Nice's arc.
High
Okay.
five.
That's your favorite hero, but does that mean that Nice is your favorite arc?
Yeah.
I think it's also that's the other thing is that I think Nice's arc gets a bit of a boost.
It's an extra episode.
Well, not just because of that, but keep in mind when they created this series, they knew Nice's arc was coming out first, so they knew that they really had to throw down their absolute ultimate best foot. Like, they couldn't make any missteps in this arc, and I think it really shows in just the meticulous care and attention to almost every detail, the additional extra episode to fully develop and flesh things out, and to just make it like an incredible intro to the series. And granted, that doesn't mean that they dipped in quality afterwards, but they did have to set a standard here.
It's a really good thematic intro too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Nice is like the Nice arc in particular. make no mistake about it, the villain of Nice's arc, like, yes, you have, what's his name?
Enlightener
And-
slash
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have him as, like, the big, like, physical threat in the
But
series
the actual villain here is the management.
that was
and-
covering things up.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
manager who's guilt tripping someone because they witnessed someone's suicide, blackmailing them, forcing them, and then turning on them and trying to manufacture things. You
Yeah.
know?
I think, that's like one of the other parallels that I really did like about Nice's arc in particular is how much it also kind of it's a subtle commentary as well on an entertainment industry in its own way, because I think you brought that up as well,
Oh,
where it's like obviously like this thing happens with like pop stars and all that, like reality TV stars. It's everywhere, and it feels very real despite it depicting some very kind of like
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there are modern pop stars who have admitted that like beef that they had with another pop star that suspiciously happened just when their new music video is coming out is manufactured to create hype.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is not a new concept in media. Like you got to create hype somehow. And let me tell you, a feud between two people is a solid fucking way to create popularity in new stuff coming out from those two artists, because everyone will want to go and check them out. And even PewDiePie. So the one to me that rings sort of the most transparently exploitative of this system is, you remember T-Series and PewDiePie,
Yeah.
right? The race to 100 million?
yeah
Right?
yeah
T-Series didn't give a shit. They're
No.
a giant conglomeration, right?
Mhm.
PewDiePie outright admitted multiple times at every turn that he's doing this just to hype up both channels and create a drama. And guess what happened? Millions of people tracking them, live streams, watching their subscriber count, diss tracks dropped, thousands of videos made about it.
You know, those PewDiePie stepped away from that sort of meme race as soon as it started
As
to get
soon
too
as
far.
yeah. And like as soon as kind of the benchmark was hit and PewDiePie stepped away, it all died down.
Yep.
Like, the bullshit really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's also kind of like how, like, for example, in WWE, where they'll like manufacture
Designed
the designed heights, like how like, oh, we really want to see these two wrestling champions duke it out, see who would win this
And it'll be better
championship
views
titles.
if this
Yeah.
person wins, so we'll, script the fight and stuff, which
Well-
is, it is a really impressive in its own way to be able to script things like that and still make them feel immersive and fun.
Right.
But Li Ling doesn't, like, I think he doesn't become an actual hero until he sheds that nice
Yeah.
persona, like, and
Because he's
admits
just
to, like,
doing what he's told.
what they did.
Yeah.
He's just doing what he's being threatened into doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a real moral conundrum here, right? If anyone's ever taken a morals and ethics class, but the definition of a hero. Are you a hero if you're only doing it to save your own skin, or for profit, or for fame, right? Or power, or money? Is a hero defined by the deeds they do, regardless of purpose? Or are they defined by the mental and emotional sort of intentions and manifestations, right? Is a hero if they would do something regardless of whether they got something out of it? Does that devalue people who do get something out of it and enjoy that thing they get out of it, but are still doing good deeds? Like, where is the line here of, like, ethically and morally being a heroic person as opposed to being a produced good deed doer?
That said, I don't want to, like, say that the heroes in this series are fake. No. Consistently,
Yeah.
most, if not all of them, when they do wrong, it's because they were largely manipulated, like, chewed up and spit out by the system into doing it. Like, we're still in the nice arc.
Yeah.
Was it in Enlightener? Enlightener
Yeah.
becomes the God Eye character because he was right. He was exposing actual, like, fucked up corruption,
Yeah.
and he got fucked over for it.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
I think to a certain extent, like, it's maybe a moral or ethical question, right? But you can't just look at somebody doing something for profit and say, because they're making a profit off of it, they're immoral, or it's not ethical, or obviously their intention is not pure, right? Because everything benefits someone, right?
Yep.
And a lot of these people, I mean, if you choose to go into this industry, you obviously had some form of, like, good intent, because there are easier ways to make a lot of money than becoming a hero. You know what I mean? There's easier ways to become famous than becoming a hero. So obviously these people had at least the the intention to do good deeds for the public.
And some of the fights aren't actually scripted, which means you are putting your life actually on the line.
Exactly.
And it is important to have that PR because that's what your power is based on.
Exactly.
Like this is not just doing it for the sake of doing it.
That's the part that differentiates it the most from the debates in My Hero Academia, right? Because in My Hero Academia, it doesn't matter whether or not people like you, right? In terms of your power level. Your fame, sure, but your power level, no. That's why, like, underground heroes are still, like, very effective heroes. Whereas in this case, you've kind of got the exact opposite, where rather than being able to be whatever you want to be, right, and still have a ranking, you need to be directly connected to the pulse of people.
And this is why I say it's a less cynical version of The Boys as well, because in The Boys, like, you have these superheroes that are being set up for these WWE situations.
But there's no, like, countermeasures over their power levels and stuff. It's all the production that's being created.
Like, it's implied sometimes there are just no no actual villains.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I do want to say this before we get too far. There is actually something a little bit more scarier that we're kind of missing.
Yeah.
It's that Ling Ling's personality is being overridden by Nice during the the course of the episodes until like you hit episode 4 where he finally breaks free.
Which gives you also the interesting question of like, so these abilities that they're being given by the belief people have in them, they're also affecting them in the way that they behave and the way that they make decisions, which means, if you believe a hero is a good person, and everyone does, then even if that person maybe wasn't a good person, they're maybe being forced to be a good person.
I mean,
and that's scary.
I mean, we also see a more extreme case of this with Furman within Nice's arc.
Because you're giving up your bodily autonomy by consenting, but essentially by volunteering yourself to have your power dependent on the people. It's not just power; it's you.
And he didn't volunteer. Furman in particular just so happened to catch up. Like, he was a firefighter that caught a falling statue. And that's what got him his power.
He fought, I think it was like, he was in a crumbling, burning building with one little girl inside of it, and he was trying to save her, but she gave him the support that he needed in order to hold that firmly in place until more people could arrive in time.
And I don't know, that's an interesting thing, because I don't know how many people, knowing that intrinsically, would then still want or consent to being controlled in this way by what's essentially the conglomeration of human belief.
Which honestly, that made Wolfman's attempt to essentially break that trust in it very understandable and actually very kind of tragic in its own way, because it's like she saw what the burden of him becoming Fernman did to him essentially.
So before we leave Lin Ling's arc, I do want to mention one last thing that I had hinted at to Seki. The Nice had a rival who was a villain, one of those manufactured WWE villains.
Yep.
And they were ballet dancers together prior to Nice becoming a hero and him becoming a villain, and their having a good time was them fighting in the streets.
Yeah. It reminded me. There's if anyone watching this video is big on TikTok, right? There's a couple. There's this one dude who does a skit series, Danny Phantom EXE, right? He does a skit series, and it's not just him. There's a couple other creators who do skit series about like heroes and villains. But there's very often like a funny twist that a lot of them have incorporated is that like secretly the villain and the hero are actually like friends or family or like dating outside of work. And so they'd be like, come home and be like, you shot me. Yeah, you should have dodged better. Damn, you're cooking dinner tonight. Or like, you really did all of this just and kidnapped Sarah to get back at me. Sarah's missing? Yeah, I thought you did it. No, I didn't. Have you checked her security cameras? It's like that, like, outside of their persona interaction.
Can I just
'Cause
say,
you're not.
Crunchyroll has had the best namings on their clips for this series.
Oh,
They
yeah.
named the scene where they show the backstory of Nice and his rival, like his WWE rival.
Yeah.
They call, and historians will call them good friends.
And historians will call them classmates, besties, roommates, colleagues, anything but lovers. History hates lovers.
Oh, goodness.
It's wild. I think this show is possibly one of the rare shows where there's so much to dig into, and we're not gonna be able to dig into it all. And there's stuff that none of us have noticed, and there's things that one of us has noticed, but the rest of us haven't. Because I think there's just so many layers and little intricate details. And I mean, the worst part is that we are losing some in translation from Chinese as well. Like, even just talking about, like, the idea of, like, the fear and the trust factors.
I've heard that the hero names in Chinese are a lot more meaningful than they are in English.
Aren't they based on, aren't they at least partially based on...
No clue. I haven't checked them.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought I heard something that they were based on, like, old sayings. Like old Chinese sayings
Like
and
old
stuff.
proverbs.
Yeah, but they're all
Yeah.
in Mandarin. I don't understand Mandarin well enough.
Cantonese. We
Yeah.
got the Cantonese boy for the Mandarin show.
I mean, everything's in Mandarin now, unless you're talking about Hong Kong singing, which
And even then,
yeah.
it's starting to move over, yeah.
Well, Hong Kong, like, singing
Because-
is very different from normal Cantonese.
Yeah, but
style.
the Hong Kong also no longer is technically autonomous from mainland
Yeah.
China, so...
But I guess we
Yeah.
can move on to the next arc, since this is Realm's favorite, the Isol arc.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this.
So,
Yeah, Isol. Good old Isol.
Sorry, before you actually start, I think, guys, like, this is my thought on the show. I think it's, they're going chronologically, but based on when the hero first actually commissioned right there. So the earliest, well, the newest hero to mission was Nice, and after that was Isol, and then after that was Lucky Cyan, and then Queen. At least that's based on, like, how I'm seeing stuff, but I don't know for sure.
Oh, I also forgot to mention, we technically had introduced to Isol in the Nice arc
Yes.
Yeah.
We
by
technically
two
did.
very brief moments.
Yes.
One where he's
technically.
saving people, and one where he's fridging Moon for the third time.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I'm about to
Yeah.
send a meme to all of your phones. Warren has seen this meme
Yeah.
that I made.
Oh boy.
I've already commented on it. You guys can see.
Let's see this. Oh boy.
I think I'm missing a key P of media literacy here. I don't know what the fuck that first thing is.
That's Kenny from South Park.
Yeah.
That's-
I've never seen South Park.
Oh my god.
Okay, Lauren.
See, the problem here is Nick Nack made a meme in which I am illiterate to 33.3% of it.
Well, you see, the Kenny, the meme of Kenny is,
Yeah.
you killed Kenny. They
It's
killed
all
him
on
every
the side.
episode,
You killed
which
Kenny.
inspired the Lancer meme. You killed Lancer in Carnival Phantasm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh my god, you killed Moon.
Yeah, the joke is that they kill Moon in 3 out of the 4 episodes she appears in.
Okay.
Well,
It
well,
loses some level of efficacy.
well, unfortunately, Seki is a little bit
Yeah.
media illiterate when it comes
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
it loses some efficacy.
Expendable.
By the way, they are keeping up the current power rankings on the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think for a day, Lucky Cyan passed Nice, because they have Nice and the Commoner listed separately. The
Yeah.
Commoner is Lin Ling, by the way, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though that
But I will say, the Commoner and Nice is currently at the bottom. Isol is past them. Isol's in 9th, they're in 10th.
Oof.
it goes up to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not up to date.
No, this is the current one.
But that's not the Billy listings. That's the story listings as of season 1.
This is the To Be Hero X website. The
Yeah,
current website.
they don't have the current listings visible on the English site.
Yeah, no, you have to go Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been following it on the
Yeah.
Reddit.
Yeah. Because that's the only place where you can actually vote.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
okay. So
Isol.
getting Isol arc. Okay. So this one starts off a little bit different to the other arcs. So we start off kind of getting our tragic background to our little protagonist boy for this one. I forget what his name is specifically.
Xing Chao? No, that's the rich like friend.
That's the rich friend. Yeah, I can't remember what his name is. I mean, anyways, it's not entirely. Someone else can look it up. It's not entirely that important.
It's kind of thematically ironic that we're forgetting his actual name.
Yeah. But anyways, like while someone else is looking it up.
What? Easel?
No, or yeah, but
New Easel.
New Easel.
Yeah.
New Easel's name. But we see his kind of tragic background, basically his parents getting murdered by common criminals, and he was almost kidnapped himself before Easel stepped in to save him. And that's sort of kind of how this guy, he gets his little idealization for this version of Easel, the one who never takes his mask off. But kind of what we see, so as he grows up, he gets taken in essentially by, I'm not sure if it's his actual like biological uncle or if he just kind of calls him uncle as like a...
He calls
him, it's more of like a Chinese thing, don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just like a translation thing.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, Yang Shen,
Yang Shen.
Yang
Shen. That's right.
Yeah.
But we follow Yang Chen like kind of as he's going through his life, and he's a pretty, I'd say, respected like individual like within his community, so to say, because he does actually on like his off days he does go to like the theater, and he pretends to be a version of Easel, fighting off criminals and bad guys for as like a play for like the kids and everything for them to be able to watch.
Yeah.
However, he does actually eventually, like as he's doing this, he starts talking with the little brother of his crush, and they kind of like start interacting. Basically, kind of just jump forward a little bit more for the arc. There is another kidnapping, like this group of two thugs is trying to kidnap the brother of his crush. And so eventually he actually gets into a confrontation with these thugs, and at that point, because of the belief in his brother, he does become, or he gets a fraction of Easel's power. So
yeah,
and then he goes viral.
And then he goes viral. And he goes viral because people see him because he's fighting in the middle of a freaking, I don't even know.
I think it's a drain ditch.
Yeah, drain ditch. Yeah,
they have them in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah.
Like, just to keep it a little bit shorter, the rest of the arc is basically him and the old Easel getting into kind of a copyright pissing match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except what's interesting to me here, like within this arc, is that the old Easel doesn't really seem to care all that much. Like, it's very clear to me, at least for the old Easel, that he's not really into like this for like the politics and everything. He seems to be more in it for
Well, the old Easel used to be a Hero X. Like, he used to be a number one
hero.
hero.
He was the first hero.
Oh, okay.
So Easel was the first hero to ever be given the title X.
Oh,
Yep.
And he was... There's a little bit of backstory, and some of it's tied to those PVs we watched, where he actually, like, when the hero system started, it was largely because he stopped, like, an actual big threat from the hero system.
No, if I remember... Well, you kind of see this in the opening right there if you actually really pay attention to it, but... I don't remember if he was actually first Hero X, but...
No, he is. He's the first Hero X.
Yeah, but, like, he defeated the number one hero that turned evil at that time. I don't remember if he was X
Zero.
or not.
Yeah. But no, he was not given the name X. X was first given to Easel.
Yeah. And that's how he actually came
Okay.
And then, like, absolutely wild that, like, his nemesis, right, that we learned about, who was accidentally defeated by Furman or whatever, that his nemesis is theorized to have been originally a biomechanically designed hero meant to occupy the same space and maybe surpass him, right? To be a fast hero who like did that sort of stuff. But then
Furman just stood in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
And it's implied there's a lot of Easel sort of, even prior to this point. I don't know if he's in the top 10 or not by this point in the series, but he's falling out of popularity as newer heroes are taking his place.
Yeah.
And throughout the arc, he's kind of cold about it. He's built up as like this really cold villain in the arc early on. Well, we can get to the twist in a second.
Yeah.
But the only real indication otherwise is he throws, when they bring up, hey, should we file a copyright infringement against the new Easel? He's like, no, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
I care about some things more than the fame or the money.
Yeah.
Which, like, you hear that and you're like, and like in my head, what was going through was like, is some of this the fact that he doesn't have control over? Like, is this the
Right.
effect of people's belief in him? Like the persona that he puts on?
But throughout this
Like-
arc, to the new Isol, all this
Yeah.
shady shit is happening,
Yup.
and they get like Enlightener in there
Yeah.
Yeah.
to come in and say it's probably the old Isol trying to silence you, shut you up.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember. I don't think explicitly stated, but the enemy that Ferdinand killed, I'm trying to remember if that was new Isols or his old Isols.
No, it was the
That was- I think that's the. I think that's the
Okay.
the
yeah,
original.
original Isols technically.
And there's
And
a
then, oh god, the twist
Oh.
at the end.
so there's like two parts that kind of build up to that twist. The first one is that they act like a rumor goes around that the new Isol that was fabricated,
Yep.
and that's the point where the old Isol actually steps in
Yeah.
and like does start filing copyright disputes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then the new Isol's like, I don't want to say his
PR
best
team?
friend, but like a very close person to the new Isol gets killed, like
Yeah.
assassinated,
Oh,
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. However,
child.
there is a twist to that in and
Yeah.
of itself.
Yeah, it leads to a
Yeah.
confrontation between the two Isols where old Isol actually dies, like
Yep.
confirmed
Mm.
kill.
Yeah.
So there's only one Isol now, and then
Who
the
absorbs the old Isol's trust,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then it turns out that this was all literally manufactured to prop up new Isol into the hero market.
Old
Yeah.
Isol did
Yeah.
nothing
Nothing.
wrong.
He
The only
literally
reason
did
he got
nothing
into
wrong.
that fight is because it was expected of him,
Yeah.
because he had no other choice at that point.
Yeah.
He was literally and because he was even losing trust throughout the fight, it forced him to use a move that if he had stayed and
Yeah.
retained his popularity, he never would have had to use his special ability.
And Isol's whole arc occurs chronologically before Nice
Yeah.
the Commoners.
Yep.
So does the next one, Lucky Cyan.
But
So-
like the final shots, that like because the one behind this is the uncle character we mentioned earlier.
Yep.
And that final shot, that was like, when I watched that, I pretty much screamed out, "That's the Vader Palpatine shot." from
Yes.
episode 3."
Yes.
Yeah.
This
From
is
Revenge
why
of the
I say
Sith.
this
Yeah.
is why I say it's the corrupted hero arc, and
Yeah.
it specifically
Yeah.
also it specifically ties in with the main or the character behind the new Isol specifically, because you slowly see his descent that he's not really making his own decisions at a certain point anymore. He's literally taking on the identity of Isol, kind of like how Anakin took on the identity of Vader, that disassociative personality.
A little bit, yeah. And I think the entire arc, like this is why I said it was ironic that we couldn't remember New Isol's name, because this entire arc thematically is him losing his identity
Yeah.
to this hero system.
Yeah.
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 I will say this: the boy that got killed, his father is actually one of the people we actually see that tried to recruit Nice because he is one of the top execs. I think he also was in Lucky Cyan, where he changed over a different company, but that company that he was in before was the OG Isol's company. So yeah.
Now, the next arc obviously is Lucky Cyan. So, chronologically, from what we know, Lucky Cyan actually takes place before the two arcs that have preceded it.
Yep.
But it's concurrent to Queen's arc, which comes up next.
I'm sorry, I need to make a joke. Hatsune Miku, is that you?
Kind of. Not really, but kind of.
Sorry, once again, out of the loop.
It's literally just an appearance thing. It is literally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It is literally just an appearance thing. She has the exact same teal color scheme. Their hairstyles are very similar. The only thing that's mainly different is the eyebrow shape.
Okay.
She also sings as well.
Yes,
Okay.
that too.
All right.
Look, I'm colorblind. I didn't catch on to that.
Like some people are too on the internet. chronically.
I know, right? I'm chronically on the internet, everybody, in case it wasn't aware.
Yeah.
In case you weren't aware of my game.
But
No one is because you don't live stream.
Yeah, exactly.
just to continue the trend of being chronically on the internet, when I was watching this arc, my first thought, and this is before she puts all, like she ends up in the church, was, you can make a religion out of that.
Yeah.
And they did!
And they ended up doing that. So Lucky Cyan she's a
Well,
survivor.
it's a cult. It's not a religion. Let's be real.
Yeah, let's be real.
Let's be real here. It's a cult.
All religions start as a cult.
I mean,
Well, no, all religions end up as a cult.
no.
No.
all cults can be considered religions, but not all religions can be considered cults, because the actual definition of a cult is a group following a single person based on the strength of their personality and ability to persuade other people. Not every religion is that centralized or based on a single belief and person leading it, but every cult is in that case. Yeah.
So it's more likely that
So this is a cult.
cults start
Yeah.
off, then makes religion, and then splinters off into another cult.
I mean, to a certain extent, yes, but also not every religion starts as a cult. You know?
Regardless, so Lucky Scion is a survivor of a plane crash, and this is kind of kept to be a pretty, like,
Big secret.
yeah, but she is unusually lucky. Like, she taps a point on the map and they find treasure there.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was like a new house.
Oh, I'm sorry, a new
Yeah.
house, yeah.
Yeah.
A new, better house that lets hair regrow back and better in the bed. Supposedly.
However, not everything is it seems, as it turns out. She's a bit of a monkey's paw.
Well, not really, no.
No.
She's not a monkey. It's like a huge
Yeah.
point in the arc is that she's not a
No.
monkey's
She's-
paw.
Just
okay.
lucky.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
incredibly lucky.
Well, what I was more so getting at is the fact that whenever her presence disappears, everyone kind of loses their luck.
That was just because of other people.
Yeah.
That-
No,
that was
that's
because
not
of
even
the
because
boy.
she's not there anymore. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
because.
Oh, okay.
Like, it started to be folded into her powers because of the belief system, the trust
Yeah.
system, but that was just not true.
Yep.
Not originally, at least.
Mhm.
But basically, the orphanage she was in after that plane crash begins to heavily exploit her.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, at first, the orphanage, the dean is what they call him,
Yeah.
is like, no, if you see people taking advantage of you, don't do it. And then he sees the money,
Yeah.
Yes, the money, the greed, the fame.
and he gets in his own head about the entire thing. And next thing you know, hard cut, and she's singing in a choir to a religion dedicated to her.
Yeah. But then she makes a friend, Lo.
Yeah, so Luo is the opposite of her.
Zach, misfortune follows him.
Ooh, yeah.
He's called the walking calamity.
You need to keep both of them together. They need to have
Yeah.
forces fight.
They just cause an exact equalization.
The dean brings him in partially because they have a connection, but also partially because it's largely because the dean got in his own head about what he could pull off.
Yeah.
The two form a friendship, and eventually it leads to her taking flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She makes it out. She becomes a street performer. She gets popular again because of that.
And once again, because we didn't really have this the Esol arc, this arc is about her finding identity separate from people's trust and belief in her power.
Yeah.
And this is kind of becoming, I think,
I think it's nice then that, like, it makes sense in that context that she then redevelops her own power on her own terms, right? Because she's manufactured by the dean into becoming the center of this cult, escapes, essentially loses her powers, right? Because they were fueled by a cult, right? But then just by being a person, exploring the world around her and doing the things that make her, like, happy and successful, she once again becomes popular and starts gaining powers back.
she's retaking her identity from the
Yep.
cult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rather than being a manufactured cult creation, this is her now taking control.
Of course, then the cult starts to blame her for the fact that they're no longer seeing that luck,
Yeah.
which leads to the cult, sort of collapsing on itself, partially because they also have Luo there, who is misfortune.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
somewhere
then
along the
Fed
line, they get we don't know how they got infected by fear or whatever it's
Yeah.
called in
Yeah.
Chinese.
Yeah.
The opposite basically of the what is it, the hero system.
And
Yeah.
she's told that Luo is dead.
Yeah, even though that she had made a deal with her agency under the agreement that the agency would help her save Luo.
It's really not until she goes in and tries to save the orphanage from its sort of collapse
Yeah.
because of the dean. It's the dean's fucking fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That she discovers Luo lived, and she also is in there at the prompting of Queen, who we'll get into in a second,
Yeah.
to find the
Black box.
Yeah, the
Her
black box.
origins.
Yeah, the literal black box of the plane that
Yeah.
crashed that she was found in.
because of what was going on in the orphanage, everyone started to believe that it wasn't that she was lucky; it's that she was taking people's luck and only distributing it as she felt like.
Yeah.
And that started to seep into her power set, in theory, because there's like rumors that she's why Queen lost the fight.
And so Queen is trying to fight this with her. She's like, okay, so what we do is we get the black box, and the surviving recording should be able to reveal, something about what happened that'll maybe help.
And it's revealed with the black box that the reason she's so lucky is because everyone on the plane believed that this child needed to go on to live a really good life.
Yeah, which is actually so just incredibly meaningfully sweet.
And I didn't touch on this earlier, but Luo is the son of a group of parents that were sitting right next to her on the plane.
Yeah.
And Luo introduces her to a song that she also heard and knew, but didn't know where it came from.
Yeah.
It was a song that the entire plane was humming as they crashed.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think the production company kind of knew the black box thing, because the one who actually gave the dean that recording was actually the reporter, and I think that reporter ended up working at the production company, but they didn't have the original file. So that's what she had to go get.
I'm not trusting the entire corporation behind this right now, because they were quick to forget about that black box until Queen got involved.
Brought it up.
Yeah.
And they were...
Well, Queen is also... Queen is the
This is our
daughter of that reporter.
This is our third, and for this set of episodes we're watching, final company to get involved in the story. And so far, we are 0 for 2 on are these companies any good. I'm not confident our third one is any good.
It's very clear that these companies cannot be trusted.
And also, this is in theory the arc where the fear is discovered by these companies.
Because...
No, Queen's.
Yeah, Queen's company.
Yeah, by Queen's company.
Arc.
I think they talk about it more in Queen's Arc, but this is the first sort of encounter with fear for this.
And then it's a little bit funky because you have to remember, watching from the beginning, that this happens before the other two arcs.
Yes.
But this and the next arc are concurrent.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're watching is the prequel to the fact that fear is known in the arcs we started in.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a fun little thing I found rewatching the big final fight scene. Fun fact, when Lucky Cyan's firing her bow?
Yeah.
She's not aiming.
No.
No.
It's belief that it's going to hit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you guys notice the character?
Which one?
X.
Okay, so this is getting into Queens mostly.
Yeah.
So we can...
No. We see X in Lucky Cyan.
Oh, yeah, because his... there's a business... just the regular without his, because he has a bit of a trend. If you watch the preview in 6 minutes, you can see he has two forms. He has his general office worker form and his I am fancy suave X with the coin form. And we see the office worker is the one that gives Lucky Cyan her first coin when she's singing. And this is sort of our first noticeable introduction of X as a character that we don't really. Unless you're keen-eyed, you aren't going to catch that.
This is still airing, so we don't have X's arc yet currently.
No.
I wonder, where we'll see actually X interact with all these characters.
But
I feel we will.
we can talk about that next time we come back to the series.
Yes.
Because we're going to start into Queen's arc now.
Yes.
Well, we can still talk about X here. He's an important part of this, kind of.
Yeah, important part, but we're moving into Queen's.
Yes, but also I feel like...
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably some stuff that you have outside of the show for X, but...
Well, yes, but what I'm saying is we're moving out of Lucky Cyan.
Yes.
Queen's arc is definitely the shortest, but she's also a character who we've been seeing and feeling since Lucky Cyan's arc.
Yeah.
Because she is a character who inspires, one of the inspirations for Lucky Cyan and Luo. Because she gives this big dramatic speech about how she wants to be to be Hero X and move women forward in the hero world.
Well, change just the whole entire rules of the trust system and how that interacts with it.
She wants to revolutionize the industry.
Yeah. Which, hard cut, she doesn't end up becoming Hero X because a popular woman at the time ends up basically kickstarting off that movement she started to become
Which
Hero X.
is a good thing because that's what she wants, but it also...
It's
robs her of the ability to change the system in the way that she intends. She wants... The thing is, she wants to be the person to change it. And the person to push this forward, but she doesn't end up benefiting from that initially.
But she takes it as a pretty with pretty good stride.
No, she takes it great.
Yeah.
Better stride than the Hero X did at the time, because the Hero X at the
Alma,
time,
or was it?
I forget her name with the spear.
Boa?
Boa comes out and is like, "Look, I know you want to be Hero X. I don't. I fuck you."
Yeah, I think, like, here's the thing. That phone call, I think she was setting up tournament so that she would actually end up winning. But because she didn't realize that X was going to be against her, because probably it was originally going to be X versus Queen first, and then Boa. It ended up being Boa first, and then Queen for X.
Yeah, Boa gets her ass handed to her by X off screen.
Yeah.
And then Queen comes out in the next tournament, is just like, okay, I'm ready to fight Boa, and X walks out. We don't see any of what X does. You only know what X can do if you watch the preview. And he flips a coin, and the next thing you see, Queen is on her ass.
Well,
Dang.
she says, like, only with, like, that, and, like, they're done. You got it.
Which gets into, like, people start accusing Lucky Scion, because Scion is actually a major character in this arc, too.
Yeah.
So is a hero we haven't had an arc for yet, the Johnnies.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Johnnies.
Little
Johnny
Johnny.
and Big Johnny.
And those characters, like, this is sort of our first, like, Queen feels like the first expanding of the world as opposed to, like, just focusing on a little slice of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not even like so much that, but like it feels like Queen's arc isn't just for Queen.
Mhm.
Queen just happens to be the point of view that we're watching from.
Yeah.
It feels like it's the first general arc in the world, right? And Queen just happens to be the eyes and voice that we're seeing through.
I will say, and you'll notice none of us picked Queen as our favorite arc, and I could kind of see this coming. It's the shortest arc for one, and I also feel like because it focuses on so much of that, Queen does kind of lose focus as a character with this arc. a little
Yeah.
bit. But yeah, the rest of the arc is just like Queen, like Boa gets into a pissing match with Queen at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because also, I think a lot of this arc specifically, like especially in the last episode, a lot of it was just that other fight that they had on the docks over there. Like that was just basically the entire almost the entirety of episode 12. Like that was like the good chunk of it right there. So I think that also kind of like, and during that time, like they do talk in between, but during like the actual fight scene, like they're not talking with each other.
Yeah.
So.
But that fight, Boa is defeated, but Queen ends up being out of commission for the next Hero tournament.
Yeah.
And it leads to, I believe, Hero X winning again.
Yeah.
So
I think, like, okay, based on my understanding timeline, so the Boa fight is the first reveal of Fear, and then Queen goes into her decommissioning for health reasons. She then pops up after getting a bit better.
She's depressed, and she pops back up when she manages to kind of...
Yeah.
Well, the
Or
whole
Lucky
thing
Scion.
with Lucky Scion pulls her out of her depression.
Yeah. And then goes Lucky Scion, and then after Lucky Scion, then
Boa
they go
comes.
to then they do the road trip at, like, the last bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Queen did have a subplot in her arc that was part of like Boa's reason for crashing out.
Yeah.
Because Queen is an industry plant, pretty blatantly. She's
Jen's daughter.
Yeah.
She's Jen's daughter, yeah.
Like, those cameras were on her for a reason.
Yeah.
And
so she's been specifically designed and placed, and...
Although
part of this is Queen's rejecting of her inherent luck in life, which is part of why she doesn't take Scion's power to help her initially.
Yeah, but at the same time, for someone like Boa, who wasn't, created and designed,
Once again, a villain
Didn't
who's...
given the opportunities.
Didn't get the silver spoon.
Yeah.
Although, like, I will admit, Queen is actually quite smart. She does
Yes,
put in the work. She just has the boost.
She does, but there is a very strong element of irony that the person who wants to revolutionize the system and change it for the better is the person who's been manufactured to have power in the system.
Yeah.
Right? You would, the normal way that a story like this would go is that Boa, right, or someone who has had to fight their way up from the bottom, from nothing, is the kind of person who would be there to revolutionize the system. It is a sad irony that the person who wants to revolutionize the system and doesn't succeed is an industry creation.
It's it's funny because the reason Boa crashes out is because she thinks not only is this industry plant like going for her number one spot, this industry plant abused the powers of another hero to try winning the tournament just to screw themselves both over, because that's when Lucky Cyan's rumors started going.
Exactly.
Now, a huge part of Queen's arc here is breaking away from the fact that she's built herself up like that, using her connections that long.
But to a certain point, right, and this is not to say a knock on her necessarily as a person, you can't discount the fact that she did have the biggest leg up possible.
Oh, yeah.
Just to put that out there, I mean, she literally had someone who just went, look, a hero throws money at marketing.
But I also don't think she does discount that ever. Like that's what makes her arc tolerable.
Yeah.
Is that she's not discounting that.
Yeah.
She at least has the humility to stand in her role and not be insufferable.
She is trying to abstain from a lot of those benefits she could have.
Yeah.
And she's not like coming at Boa like, I'm going to fucking take you down. Like, she's going at it, trying to approach it more. She's trying to keep things on an equal field.
Yep.
Now, that said, I do totally get where Seki's coming from here, because, again, Queen is none of our favorite characters. Her being an industry plant does inherently make her a lot less relatable.
Once again, there's just a slight ethical and moral sort of subconscious vibe there. You know what I mean?
But as a counterpoint, I will challenge you.
Yeah.
In some ways, aren't all of our characters here industry plants?
I mean, pretty much
every single
all
one of them were
Yeah.
scouted at a very young age.
Yeah.
And outside of
Yeah, I was gonna
Commoner, who was
say,
literally
outside of
kidnapped
Commoner.
off the street
Yeah.
just because he looked like
Blackmailed.
nice, and only becomes the Commoner
Yeah.
because he is in the right place at the right time as an industry plant.
No, it's valid. It's just once again another element to that whole like the oh my god, what's it?
The only
There's
one.
there's a term
For what?
for like this kind of like manufacturing of things. There's a term for like this
I know.
manufacturing
It's
of
not-
people.
No.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I can't
I
think
don't
of it right now.
There is only one non-manufactured, plant kind of person. Well, at the start, Birdman. That's the only
Birdman.
one.
Yeah, Furman
Yeah.
is the one exception.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing here is that these people are heroes despite like the how they're lucking into their positions,
Yeah.
not because of it.
Once again, the question on what makes you a hero, like what is the prerequisite when the requirement for power is this?
It's I don't think Queen is an amazing character, but I do think she's an important one.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Does that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
honestly.
no, definitely.
But yeah, because like I didn't get a chance to bring it up, but with like Easel's arc, like the manufacturing, like do we really know like how far back like his manufacturing go? Like it probably honestly could have gone all the way back to that very first incident where his biological parents were murdered. Like that could have been
Well,
very far set up.
I don't know. He's far enough back in the timeline that I'd be willing to put a bet down that probably doesn't go that far back.
The guy who who builds the new Esol, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, the uncle.
I mean,
The
the
uncle.
original Esol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original Esol, no. The original
No.
Esol is very clearly that
Yeah,
traditional.
But the
The
uncle
original.
is the kid who was saved by the original Esol when he was 6. So he was the kid who was saved who became the uncle.
No,
Wasn't
the,
it?
the new
No.
Esol is the kid that was
No,
saved.
the new Esol is the kid.
The
That's
uncle
it.
is
That's the one. Yeah.
The uncle is the old one of the old Esol's managers who probably
that's it.
found the new Esol kid because of that incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why because it's unusual that an actor that's on a stage has no trust value at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's clearly some manipulation going on there for that to happen.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe the incident itself wasn't pre-incited, but the fact that because the old Esol introduced this kid to one of his old managers, that was maybe what got the ball rolling.
I don't
in
even think
motion.
he introduced new
I think
manager.
the incident
it's
just being known
yeah.
and public
That's
you know?
possible as well.
probably was what started that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that,
Yeah.
I think like these first arcs were just they're phenomenal. In my opinion.
There's so much to go through.
Like
Yeah,
this is
too
one of
much.
my favorite ongoing. This is probably my favorite ongoing series right now. Period.
It's so dense, like already in only its just first 12 episodes, like
Yeah.
like that we watched.
I'm a bit nervous going forward though, because we can see how long the future arcs are going to be, and I don't think there's any longer we're two arc episodes now.
They haven't been decided yet.
Yeah, they have.
I don't think
Well,
so.
no,
They got the
they're
whole
going to
schedule.
finish up everything
Well,
to
yeah.
the competition.
Yeah.
And then they might.
But they've already outlined how many episodes each character is
yeah.
getting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do have a couple getting only like one episode. New
Like
yet.
X is only getting one.
But I
Yeah.
wonder if the factor we're not taking into account there is will those arcs be as disconnected as our first three, or will they be like our third and fourth?
Yeah.
Like, will we start seeing arcs where more characters are interacting and happening at the same time?
Without spoiling anything, I'm pretty sure you're right about that based
Yeah.
off the arc
Yeah.
that's ongoing right now.
Yeah.
Well, because
so.
like we already see X, like in already like just some of the things we've already seen, so we're probably
But
definitely gonna get that for X.
Yeah. So, but X is not the only character who's only been given one arc.
I do think the
There
decision.
are two other characters who've only been given one episode in their
Yeah.
arcs.
I do think the decision to lead with the first three arcs, with have higher episode counts compared to the rest of the
Yeah.
arcs. I do think those three
And
being
are
what
set chronologically backwards, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all legitimately is being manufactured
Oh,
to
yeah.
like centralize our focus on these characters as our sort of main
Yeah.
characters
Yeah.
to identify with going into the more connected season 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then ideally season 2 will be pretty much all concurrent to one another.
Mhm.
Like every
Yeah.
arc should be relatively concurrent, and that means that you'll see multiple characters. So even if you're, in the focus of the eyes of Queen, you're also seeing Lucky Cyan in the same arc.
Season 2 is supposed to be a tournament arc.
Huh.
I'm excited for
Yeah.
that. You know I love me a good tournament. I'm the only person here who loves me a good tournament at any given time.
Oh no, it might be a good tournament because it's just like
Vaughn,
kind of art style.
No. You might like this tournament. You don't get to chime in on me saying I'm the only one here who likes a good tournament arc. You actively hate tournament arcs. On that note, I think we've all given suggestions already.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were doing that throughout.
Perhaps we move on to the poll for the next anime.
Hang on. I need to give my obligatory fate suggestion.
You already did.
You
I just
already
said
did.
fate.
You already did.
You
though.
already did.
You already did, though.
You said Fate Carnival.
You
Yeah.
said multiple Fate series across the course of this, including one where you just said the entire system of this thing in Fate.
Yeah. So what's your counter argument, Nick Nick?
Actually, I think I'm the only one who has it. Link click. There you go.
Okay.
The other offers work.
Yeah.
And we already technically covered, I think, Waifu Wars because we gave our
Yeah.
favorite arcs. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I think Seki's got us all in this one right here. I think it's time we go right to the poll.
But look at his eyes. Look at the sad puppy eyes.
Look at the set. Jack.
Look at the sad eyes.
Jack. Look at
Look
at
at your
Nick.
father.
Look at him.
Can you compete against that?
He doesn't seem to care.
Should we let him give his one specific
You get
suggestion? You get one.
You
Go.
get one. You get one suggestion.
I wasn't prepared to actually be allowed to speak.
We are feeling benevolent because we all like this show.
Yes.
You got 10 seconds.
Fuck it. FGO, because it's the one that actually touches with the gods.
Okay.
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 Alright. Drum roll, please. Oh!
What?
What do we get?
It's one of mine.
Okay.
I wasn't really expecting it to pop out. Okay. What the fuck are you doing?
Pulling up YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh,
so look for
okay.
trailer if you need one.
So yeah, it's one that I originally read the manga of and then heard that it was coming out as an anime. I've never actually seen the anime.
Oh.
So you're gonna want to look up Dungeon of Black Company.
Oh.
Not Dungeon of the Black Company. Dungeon of Black Company.
Okay.
Meikyu something.
I think I know what that is.
Yeah, it's pretty old. I think I picked up the books. Find it. Yeah.
No, not the Dungeon of Black Company.
No, I think that's it. Dungeon of Black. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dungeon of Black Company. I think that's it.
Okay.
All
right.
Watch this.
Let's see.
So it's supposed to be some sort of like commentary on like those really terrible black companies in Japanese culture, which could be. I mean, you get the comparison in the Western world is like company towns and stuff like that, where you're just your whole life is a cycle to working for this company and stuff like that.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Sounds like those old-timey, like, mining towns
Yeah, that's
or,
the
like,
mining
the
towns. I
railroad
literally
towns.
just said that. The mining companies. The
Yeah.
company towns.
It's
yeah.
this whole entire show is just the song 16 Tons by
Yeah.
Ernie Ford in a nutshell.
Mhm.
Tennessee Ernie Ford, yeah.
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 Certainly an isekai.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
my.
it's a little on the older side.
I feel like- I'm not saying it's bad because it's an isekai. I'm saying isekai is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
yeah, you might get coconut, but then you might get a lovely dark chocolate mousse.
I feel like
I mean,
this
I don't
one-
know. I'll take the coconut. I
Fuck
like
coconut. Dark chocolate mousse is better.
I like
That is the
coconut.
one chocolate opinion Seki and I can agree on.
Yeah.
And you can also get durian.
I don't mind durian.
I don't mind durian either.
I don't know if I've actually had the durian before or not. Oh,
Probably not. It's
You probably
pretty rare.
smelt it.
yeah, okay.
Anyways, but it's a little bit of a weird one. I think I don't actually know how this is going to go down because I've actually not seen it. I just read the manga.
All of our best anime club episodes are anime we submitted without having watched them before.
I don't know if I have faith in this after watching that trailer.
I mean,
I don't know if I ever had faith in this per se. I think I just put it in because I thought the manga was funny.
I don't think this is going to be particularly hateable, but I don't think it's going to be particularly outstanding. I think it's just going to be kind of average.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. You know what? I'm going to keep my hopes high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright guys, well I think that's about it for this week, so just remember to like, comment, subscribe, and try harder everyone.
To be Hero X. I can't do voice.
No.